Good evening. This is Point Blank here at KTN News. Most people know my guest with this famous quote, Najivunia kuwa Mkenya.
Yes.
Governor, I need to talk to you a bit about heavy politics. Wewe, Kibwana, Ngilu.
Yes, yes.
Rebels.
No, revolutionaries.
Against Kalonzo Musyoka.
We have to, you know, power is not given, it is taken. And we cannot continue to be in a region that just creates positions for an individual, whereas our people languish in poverty. You know, I like Kalonzo Musyoka. I respect Kalonzo Musyoka, and we should respect Kalonzo Musyoka. I get very angry when I hear some of my supporters attacking Kalonzo Musyoka. Don't attack Kalonzo Musyoka. Don't insult Kalonzo Musyoka. Give him the respect he deserves. However, we have to understand that Kalonzo Musyoka has really not done much for our people. As it is right now, the needs of our people are such that his type and style of leadership is off track. Our people are suffering. We've got thousands of young people who are unemployed, who have no jobs. We've got lots of women who are sleeping hungry in many parts of Ukambani. So you cannot lead a community that way, where you remain yourself. You're the only one going up and up, whereas the rest are remaining poor.
But supporters,
so we cannot, yeah.
Supporters of Kalonzo would argue, Governor, that he's never had the chance to lead. Should he be president, he could.
Let me tell you, my friend, you watch football, and you cannot say that I've been a very bad player, I've not had a chance to score because I was playing in the lower leagues. But when nieke tu Premier League, utaona vile mabao nitafunga. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. If you can't score in the lower leagues, you're not going to score in the bigger leagues. That is where you look at somebody's track record. You say this person has performed in a lower job. That means they can perform in a higher job. You don't say that this person has failed in a lower job, but you've given them a bigger position, then they'll be able to score. And I think it's all about his style. Style yake na wengine, it is a style of the past. This is a new era where people want to see development. I remember my friend, the late Michuki, for example. Whenever you move Michuki from one ministry to another ministry, he made it fly. You know, Michuki was not the president, but Michuki made sure that we are wearing our seatbelts today. Michuki did things that changed this country. He cleaned up Nairobi River, he got an award. He did all these things. So it is not about you've not been in a position of power. It is whatever you've got at hand, what have you done with it? Hata Yesu alisema katika Biblia, kuna wengine wanapewa taa, wanaweka juu ya meza, na kuna wengine wanaweka chini ya kitanda. Usingojee upewe taa kubwa niweke juu ya meza. What have you done with the small lamp that you've been given? And so that is our beef with Kalonzo Musyoka. And I want to tell the people of Ukambani, even as I run for president, tell them this. You know, if all the people in Ukambani voted for me, Alfred Nganga Mutua, all of them, 2.5 million voters, and I did not get any votes from outside Kenya, I would never be president of this country. A president is the one who gets votes not only from where he comes from, but from all over the country. And truly, the only person currently who can get votes, not only in Ukambani, but all over the country, and hails from Ukambani, is Alfred Nganga Mutua, is myself. So, as we support Kalonzo, we need to realize that, yes, he can only be the leader of Ukambani, but he can never be the leader of Kenya, because really we do our polls, we do our research analysis, we do everything. He doesn't have support outside of Ukambani. So if you don't have support outside Ukambani, then how can you say that you can be the president of this country? And so we don't want our people to be conned, to be working so hard to give a job to somebody. This is not about one person. It's not about Alfred Mutua. It's not about Kibwana. It's not about Ngilu. It's not about Kalonzo Musyoka. It's not about us politicians. It is about our people. What are our people getting? What are the benefits to our people?
From a historical perspective,
yes.
If you look in the rearview mirror from the greatness of Ponge, where would you put Kalonzo? And is there a mentor that Mutua has in Ukambani politics that you would want to emulate or improve upon? For people outside the community to understand?
I think we're going to bring back, with my type of leadership, we're going to bring back the strength, the purpose, the character of Paul Ngei. You see, Paul fought for independence. Paul was in the trenches. Paul Ngei was not a conformist, was not a person who's one leg over here, another leg over here, was not wishy-washy. Paul Ngei disagreed with a lot of people because he had a position. And that is why Jomo Kenyatta liked him, because you could agree with him and you go to bed and you knew exactly what he was going to do because he was a man of a stand. And that's the kind of man that I am myself. I'm a man who, if I tell you, Tony, it is no, you're not going to hear tomorrow I said yes behind your back. If I change my mind, you're the first one to know. I'll tell you no. And so those are the hallmarks of a leader that can be counted upon.
Where was Paul
across
Ngei
the
from?
country. From Machakos, from Kangundo.
So Machakos is a center. There's this Kitui Machakos issue. I mean, real power has hailed.
You see, Machakos has never had a presidential candidate. We've supported people from Kitui. You know, Charity Ngilu Ren, we supported her. Kalonzo Musyoka Ren, we supported her. We've supported him.
You've got a very
2-3 times.
strategy.
You know, and so I think our people of Machakos are saying it's also about time that we have supported you, we love you, and also Rudisha Mkono, you know, support us in Machakos, because, you know, Machakos being the headquarters of Ukambani in terms of how it has been set up from the days of the 1970s and 80s, it is time. It is time for us to.
Mumebeba Kitui throughout.
We've always supported Kitui. Makueni and Machakos are one item. We call ourselves the Machakos area, Machakos zone. Was just divided into two, to Machakos, but it's usually been Machakos and Kitui, the two divisions, the two areas. So this Machakos wing has always supported the Kitui wing. So we're saying, Kitui, we've always been brothers and sisters to you. Support us also as we continue, because we are one. But unlike other areas, the Kambas are not clan-based in the sense of people fighting. You go to other regions where clans are so strong that people hate you or love you because of your clan-based. Our clans cut across. So you find if you are from a clan or a background, it cuts across Kitui, Machakos, whatever. So it's just a border of people from Kitui, people from Machakos, but we are one. Kambas are very homogenic. We are one people. As one people, we only come from different regions. So we don't have that those differences. And, you know, we get along very well.
So they say Osavinya Mokamba.
Osavinya Mokamba, and then we get the
model there.
But you see, at the end of the day, it's about, you know, I was in Kibwezi. I'll give you a sad story. I was in Kibwezi, and I went to a store, and I went to buy, I believe it was some water. And there was a woman in front of me, and this woman, when she was ordering, she said, "Tafadhali, nataka mafuta ya kijiko, nataka chumvi ya kijiko dogo, nataka," and she was ordering things according to a spoon, and they are put in a small newspaper and they are wrapped. And so I asked her, and then she bought unga wa nusu kikombe. So I asked her, why are you buying such small things? She said, I have worked for 1 week and only have 150 shillings.
Oh, God.
So I'm going to spend 100 shillings buying these items and 50 shillings buying sukuma so that I can go cook for my children. 150 shillings. That is the state of our people in Kenya today. Young people are lining up on the streets trying to sell their wares to cars in junctions. People are bribed with 50 shillings. We are here, we say umaskini umekuwa ni kama wimbo ndugu yangu. We are in a place whereby a country with so many resources, a country with so much opportunity and strength, we should not be. We look like we have been cast to suffer so much in a country of so much plenty. So, and that's why we're saying we need to shift the type of leadership we've had in this country. The generational change, the time for change is here. Otherwise, 10, 15 years from now, will be telling the same stories.
Mheshimiwa, in terms of the proto, I don't know, I mean, Ukambani, everybody says, maskini Ukambani, poverty, moyo, what was this word of, give moyo?
People food relief. And you see, that is maybe one of the reasons I was declared to be governor #1, is because I have eliminated food relief. I have lowered the need for food relief in Machakos because I introduced a subsidy program when I got in. We bought 40 tractors to plow in all wards so that we increase the amount of land. My thinking was this: when it rains and you've got a bumper harvest and you have 1 acre, you harvest 20 bags of maize. Good. When it doesn't rain, you harvest 5 to 3 bags. You know what I mean? What if instead of 1 acre, you have 2 or 3 acres? So that now when you have a bumper harvest, you have 30 to 40 bags. But when you don't have a bumper harvest, you have 10 bags, like what you used to have before when food was okay. That way you never starve because you always have enough food. So I started increasing the amount of plowable land. I've given my people free seeds. I give them free subsidized fertilizer, green. So I have a 1/4 acre program to plant high yield crops. I have dug the dams for to do agriculture.
This is important. I have to interrupt you.
So in Machakos today, as we speak, I have empowered our people.
Are you saying this is Arable land?
Machakos
because
land
the
is
mystic
so
out there.
Arab. Oh my goodness!
No, you're thinking of Ukambani.
Yes.
People think of arid and.
No.
Well, I claim ignorance there.
No, if you go to Israel, if you go to Jordan, if you go to a lot of these countries that are even drier than our northeastern, and yet they have big plots of land growing, and you wonder, Jordan receives less rainfall than Ukambani. How come they don't get food relief? It's all about leadership. Somebody said, Graham said, everything falls and rises and falls on leadership. It's about leadership. It's about having a vision for your people. So I have rescued my people from I call it the shame of food relief.
Kuomba. People look at Ukambani what do you Ukambani?
Mulyo. I mean, it's a shame. So my people of Machakos, yes, at times like now, when the rains are failed, when you've got issues, yes, it's biting. It's biting as it's biting in Tarakaniti, as it's biting in Embu and other places, but it's not biting as much as it used to bite. Things are getting better, and they are going to get better and better because it's about serving wananchi and having visionary ideas that you can do 20% that can get you the 80%.
I need to take you to the economy,
yes.
Generally, of the region.
As they
Just
said,
generally, I know my friend David Masika was talking about cotton and that kind of area, other than agriculture. I don't know whether it's tourism. What are the areas that
for
the
me,
general Ukambani?
I think for me, we have to diversify from just being an agro country. When I got in, I started the investment program of bringing in industries. And people ask me, Mutua, where is the new city? You promised you brought Uhuru Kenyatta, where is the new city? People need to know, and I want Kenyans to know, that I had vision. I had a big vision, which I still have. I even got the guy who built Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world, to come to Machakos. And he said, yes, I'll build a big mall here. I'll build super highways, come to the mall. I got investors coming in, Ashok Leyland, to build a big factory and all this. And we had land, and we agreed with Uhuru Kenyatta. Our good friend, Senator Johnson Muthama, working for Wiper, went to court and filed, and we got an injunction so that we don't give that land to investors to build the new city and bring a new revival so that 300,000 youth could get jobs. It stayed in court for 5 years. By the time it was thrown out by a judge of the High Court, and now we could go back now to give titles. I can tell you, my friend, I got a title for Ashok Leyland. We send them the allotment letter. They send it back to us. They said, we are sorry, we are no longer interested. We build the factory in Egypt.
Governor, I want to...
All these people who we had gotten had built, but not all of them. Yeah. The rest now we are processing.
I have to ask you about aviation.
And the new city
I have to ask you about aviation. Yes. I want to get a lot in. Yes. A lot of people think that Wilson can accommodate the local, regional.
It's too tight.
And there's a view that Machakos is have you had discussions with Kenyatta?
It's not even a view. As we speak right now, we're in the last stages of designing an airport. We've already put seed money into airport construction, And 6 months from today, my friend, we'll have flights taking off from Machakos.
This is point blank?
We're building an airport.
No, I'll bring you here.
We're building an airport. Call me 6 months, we'll have practice planes taking off and landing. Actually, we can fly you in one and do point blank in Machakos.
I'm coming. We'll do what we do. Point blank will fly with you.
You have to build an airport. You have
the inaugural flight will be there.
You have to build an airport. You have to do things that spur the economy. As Clinton said, it's all about the economy, stupid. You remember that slogan of Bill Clinton? So it's all about, it's all about the economy.
No, are you targeting domestic flights? Because that's going to be huge for Machakos.
It's domestic flights, but also cargo flights. I'm looking at it this way, that
horticulture,
also diversifying so that when flights are also diverted, they don't have to go to Mombasa, other places, they can land in Machakos. I'm looking at flying schools. I mean, I'm looking at creation of hundreds of thousands of jobs.
What's the length of
Machakos.
The runway? Because, you know, Wilson, the problem has been...
It's about 1.4, 1.5 kilometers in Wilson.
What are the standards at Jomo?
Jomo is 4 kilometers, but it's also high altitude. Machakos is low altitude. Machakos sits at about 5,000 feet. Nairobi is 7,000. So we are starting with a runway of just over 2 kilometers, which we are going to expand to 3.5 kilometers, which eventually will be able to land the biggest plane in the world.
Of course, it's bigger than Eldoret.
Yeah.
Are you saying at point blank?
Yeah,
this is news.
That's a plan. That's a plan for Machakos.
So yeah, I think that will.
We start with
2 runways.
We start with 1 runway.
Yeah.
Because at times you don't even need 2 runways.
Yes.
You start with 1 runway. You start with one runway. You start with a small runway, just the way Jomo Kenyatta started with Embakasi Airport, and then you expand it.
Does the county have the land?
We have the land.
Is the money there? Is it from the county or the government?
Money
national?
from the county, yes, we put money there. I want to bring in investors to invest in other areas so that we build the runway. You invest. We can get somebody building the terminal for us. We can get somebody building the hangars for us. We want to bring people for flying schools. We want to be the parking lot for all these jets. You know, if you go to Nigeria today, they have all these people with private jets. They don't know where to park them. From Angola, South Africa, let them be parked in Machakos. When you park there,
flying
you give us money. Yeah,
pilots to land.
The other thing is also about tourism. We've got to diversify. You know, I lived in the UAE. I lived in Australia. I lived in the US. You look at tourism, you know, UAE receives 100 million tourists a year. Dubai only. 100 million tourists a year. Even if each person spent only $100 and they spend more, that is how much? That's so much money. In Kenya, it's about 1 million.
In terms of the financial sector, Nairobi has been the hub of everything.
Yes.
The stock exchange, the banks. And so. What extent are you, how many people will come? Like having a headquarter of cooperative bank what's in the drawer? What's on your entry?
We want, first of all, Machakos is becoming the bedroom for Nairobi. We want industries to move to Nairobi so that now...
To Machakos?
To Machakos.
Yes.
From Nairobi. We want Machakos to be the bedroom of Nairobi. We want Machakos to have all these companies in a place where they have space, they have ability to expand, they can grow and all that. But you see, at the end of the day...
People will say housing is an issue and ask, you know, can you handle all this?
Yes,
you know, where do people stay? What are the grants on urban...
We've got grand plans, we've got land, we've got PDPs that have been done clearly that people are ready to be able to work. But at the end of the day, my friend, you know, I'm doing all these things in Machakos for my people, but I'm also looking at where are we going as a country? And let me ask viewers, are you really happy with your life? Do you think that today, where you're sitting today, you have enough money in your pocket? You have what you deserve? Do you think that the gap between the rich and the poorer is getting smaller or is getting bigger? Do you think that the monies that are in government are well spent? Are you happy about the future of your children? Do you think your children have a better life than you've had today in Kenya today? And I know most of the people say no. And that is where we say the time has come. And let me explain to you in very short time, because I know time is running out. Yes. We've always been on a foundation stage in our country. We've not really never grown. You know, we've got Jomo Kenyatta, who was the first president of our country, pre-independence with Oginga Odinga. We had Daniel Arap Moi, pre-independence was in the Legico. We had Mwai Kibaki, who was Secretary General, Secretary Okau. pre-independence. So our three leaders have all been pre-independence. Raila Odinga was locked up for 9 years or 7 years, whatever, fighting for democracy. He did very well. Uhuru Kenyatta is the first president to lay a foundation. Let me ask you, you are educated. When you finished Form 4, you went to university, went to college. Would you have gone to college if you'd never passed Form 4? Or Form 6? I went to Form 6, you know? Yes. You would never have gone there. Yes. Because the teacher who taught you is so important in Form 4. But when you went to university, you do not go with the same teacher who taught you in primary or Form 4. You find a new teacher. These leaders have done well. Kenya would not be where it was if it was not for Jomo Kenyatta, if it was not for Moi making sure we were never overthrown, if it was not for all these leaders sacrificing, Mwai Kibaki economic growth, Raila Odinga fighting for democracy, Uhuru Kenyatta with his handshake. But their time, they have done well. Now they are like the teachers at Form 4 who will not be where we are without them. But now Kenya is moving to the next stage and it needs a new form of leadership. And that leader is Alfred Nganga Mutua. And that is where I'm putting myself up for leadership, to be the next leader of this country, because we need to transform our country to be better than it is. We need to solve these questions that I've asked. We were not born to suffer, my friend. I went to school in the US with Americans. They are not smarter than you and I. They are people like us. I went to school with Australians. I've lived with the Arabs, you know, who are swimming with a lot of money. They are not smarter than you and I.
Governor,
we have to change our country, but we change it through a generational change.
Do you think that the young, do you think that people in this country are caught up in so much of the nostalgia that they don't actually think that it can change?
Yeah, you see, somebody aptly put it the other say that Kenyans are always crying out for change, but they don't want to change. When we vote the same way. Like, you know, mabadiliko, but we do things the same way. We call for change, but we don't want to change. A time has come for us to change, and that is where the new generation, the younger generation that is not blinded and enslaved by the concepts of tribalism, is the one that really can change our lives. And I'm asking the people of Kenya, support me, because I mean well. I don't want to run for president because I want power, or I want greed, or I want to nyakua. I want to run for president so that our children, your life can be better than it is today, because it can be better. You are not born to suffer. This life is not a rehearsal. Ukienda haurudi, maisha ni haya. So why should you live a life that is not as good as the ones in America where they are created by God? Twende kashoka, uliumbwa na Mungu ama na shetani? Mungu. Hata mimi niliumbwa na Mungu. But then why is it a child who was created by God in Switzerland is walking around comfortably, na mtoto aliyeumbwa na the same God in Kenya anatembea matako ikiwa nje bila suruali? We need to get angry and say it is time for change. It is time to usher in a new generation led by Alfred Nganga Mutua, because we have the experience. I've worked in national government, I have the international experience, I have the education, I understand economics, and I understand what we can do to transform our country to be like Singapore, to be like Malaysia, to be like the Europeans. Na Mungu anatupenda Kenya.
Haya, mmesikia nyinyi wenyewe. You are watching Point Blank here at KTN News. Governor Alfred Mutua says, I'm running for president. And before I see him off, he says, you guys need to think differently. What about the newness of leadership? My brother, asante for coming to KTN.
Good to see you again. You're looking good.
I'm coming on the inaugural flight.
You're coming on the inaugural flight. I'll remember that.
Remember that.
Utakuja, tutalanda na wewe na tutafanya show.
Ambia first lady, nataka kukuta chakula mzuri.
Itakuwa sawa kabisa.
You're watching KTN News.